We have Majespecters for you today. That's been a nice recurring theme. Infernobles, and is that Ignisters along with some other meta? Yes, it is. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more on us content. Now, I have enjoyed Majespecter innovations out here. There have been a few ideas floating around out here, and on the more localized level, this deck can actually get the chance to shine. You have to remember, obviously, people are going to try all sorts of things out here. And, you know, gearing up for a localized event is always going to be easier than climbing to the top of the meta chart, trying to challenge the meta. So, this build is incorporating the Draco Slayer package in here because, well, this is able to be, it's both a Draco Slayer card and a Majespecter card, so it kind of allows you to bridge that gap and be able to kind of go down multiple lines of access. Now, one little interesting thing that this build is doing is it is playing Promethean Princess and Ambler Whale in here, adapting Fire King's defensive play. Now, granted, it's kind of cute. I like the idea of this. But I think, for all things considered out here, this is kind of cute. Also, you have the best generic pendulum scales available to you right now in the form of Wakashi and Big Benki. You know, as much as like we've seen this deck try to adapt, testing out different lines of play, you know, trying to change its identity and see, hey, you know, maybe we can test something else, you know, or try to break the mold and go down a different path here. These cards still assist every pendulum archetype that you can actually have. Now, with your Draco Slayer stuff, obviously, you could add access to, you know, Ignister and Mr. Ignister himself. His card is actually really good still to this day for being the full little extension line, so you can do your thing. And also, this deck also has access to Zealantis. Starting to kind of wonder how I actually feel about this card in current competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! You can also set up Trigate Wizard. Yeah, it's been a very long time since we've seen Trigate success out here. Interesting stuff. Okay. Now, this is Infernoble Flame Swordsman, and I will say, you know, Infernoble, okay, yeah, they lost to Sold. Alright, a lot of people told me, we're going to hang on. This deck needs a lot more to actually kind of do its thing, but the Flame Swordsman stuff allowed this deck to kind of bridge the gap between a lot of the, well, it still has issues, I'm just going to be honest with you, but it gives you access to big Turbo Man out here. This lets you target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, ping your opponent for 500. That's kind of cool for time, I'm not going to lie about that. And then it becomes a quick effect when equipped with an equipped card. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of this turn, and then it destroys itself during the end phase. But, you know, that's 5,600 attack. And if you're attacking over a weak little monster like, you know, Pob or Oak, you know, these little things that might be in attack position, you can actually do some crazy damage. Also, your Infernoble combos, you're just kind of going up a lot of the basic stuff. Interesting that we're playing Oliver, but we're not playing, you know, any of the real crazy lines of play. Like, we're just playing one Emperor Charles. That's good enough. If you do happen to turbo through the two, which, I mean, you probably will, honestly, because Mr. Museum moving one on up usually ends up being pretty good. We're also on one of the Salamander Fusion, one of the Salamander with Chain, one of the Flame... Honestly, Flame Swordsman Realm is one of the coolest cards we've ever had. Getting the ability just to special summon a Flame Swordsman from your extra deck, getting to beam this on out is always going to be free. Hey, free Warrior Monster. I have a feeling that this is why Sold ended up getting kicked out of the arena here. It's because they're like, you know, just discard a free card, special summon a a Flame Swordsman monster. Free Warrior support. That couldn't be much of a problem. Now, could it? Who would have guessed? But okay. What else we got going on back here? This is... I cannot believe that somebody got away with actually playing at Ignister. I do want to say the loss of Circular, it's not like Circular was really holding this deck together, but anytime that you would see this deck show up on the rare off chance, it usually was because, hey, we're playing Circular in here. You know, it gave you the ability to kind of use these two cards to actually kind of combo on up a little bit more, because your whole extra deck is going to be Cybers as it is. Like, you're going to be stepping through, well, like the Neo Tempest Terahertz, I believe, is your current boss monster. Back in the day, this deck's strong suits used to be, you know, the big Ignister boss monster guy. And obviously, things have kind of changed now with being able to go through the entire Firewall extension combo line. It all just kind of depends on where you think your end board needs to end to put you in probably your best position out here. I also find it interesting playing one shifter. It's probably because double crossout. Would you, in a build like this, actually want to try to have the 3 crossouts? Or are you going to try to optimize it a little bit more so you can try to hit the keynotes a little bit easier? Because I feel like this deck leaves a little bit open, at least in the way that you're going to try to play the meta out here. So, more option trees, I feel like, I suppose. Outside of that, double Nibiru, you have the 1 Veiler, you have the double Ghost Bell. I feel like you've got a majority of your choices settled in for you. Also, 2 of the Ignister Island. Once again, I mean, when you have a Link 1 that can literally search it for you, everything that you want in this deck is so very easily obtainable. Well, imagine crossing out and then you get hit with the droplet, you get hit with this. Okay. What else we got back here? We have some Voiceless Voice for you today. I'm going to be honest with you. Voiceless Voice, it took Costa Rica to kind of showcase, hey, more of this deck is kind of here to do its thing, but you've got a big argument right now with the community on, do we play the double Saravis, or do we choose to play the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph? And I think a majority of what the TCG is looking at right now is just play the full Saravis package. That way you can kind of combo up through and do what you need to do, because the ability to get a free summon negate is actually pretty crazy. Alright, and it also banishes the monster, so you won't have to deal with any of those. When this card is destroyed by, you know, whatever, you just kind of bypass that with this. We do see the double Dynamondo down here. Also keep in mind that you do see Hida down here. Most of these decks have now reached the point that they're going to try to abuse Hida for the free link climb before somebody's like, where's the fire monster, Robbie? Right here. Alright, like, you literally convert your low into the Almirage, and you're off to the races. Like, climb into the Hida, climb into your opponent's monster, start climbing on into an access code talker to clear the game out. Like, your deck gives you the ability to overcome these weaknesses that the opponent's field is setting up for you. Alright, and that's something that's very important to understand. When you can start using these extra deck resources to your advantage, I think it's one big thing that people need to understand about this format is little things like this can change the entire dynamic of the way that you're trying to play Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially when you need to put those pressure OTKs on your opponent, or else you're just going to be blown out of the game. We've seen time and time again right now that there can be so many detrimental things right now. It's kind of crazy. Our last list is some Sprite Melfi. Alright, so we have the Penny Caddy package in here, kind of helping you out along with your... Hold on. Great Shogun, Shien, Jinzo. What? Is it just because, like, we can commit a normal summon to the Shien? Is it because we can also commit a normal summon to the Jinzo out here? Like, when I first saw Jinzo, I was like, is there Psychic Processor in here? But no. I believe that we're just playing these as 2 Floodgate monsters that we can actually deploy on the opponent as they're going up combo lines? There's a big question mark there, because I'm intrigued with the thought of having access to these 2 monsters in the deck. You know, you want to be able to, I guess, try to control the game in ways, especially, once again, localized environments out here. You know, if you're playing into an event and you're like, well, you know, I might need to run into something, you know, maybe a Great Shogun Shien can kind of get you to where you need to be. I mean, hey, your opponent can only play 1 spell and trap card per turn. That's always amazing. And then Jinzo for the trap-based format. So, I can't even say it's a trap-based format. For your trap-based localized environment. Outside of that, I mean, this is very standard Sprite stuff, man. Like, you have the Gamma Burst main deck, so you can do the OTKs. You have Smashers for the immediate spot removal. You have the anti-scams just to make sure you can kind of stick around and do your thing. And, of course, smash the board 3,000 with the 2 best generic fusion monsters that you can kind of pop on in to the current format. Yeah, See absolutely nothing wrong here, man. Everything looks as it should be for this. So what do you guys think about these decks? I will say I'm intrigued. I want to see more of what these ideas can kind of bring to the table. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day. Oh, wait. That's a Jinzo and a great Shogun Shien. I feel like, at this point in time, that I've kind of seen it all in terms of the ideas. Leave a comment down below if you've tested this deck. I'm very curious. I want to actually hear the results from somebody and actually have them go, hey, you know, like, Robbie, this is actually kind of viable. Yeah, it looks like it is. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.